Good afternoon. I welcome you all to the session of hydraulic machines, and today we shall solve one numerical problem on slip. If we try to recall, in the last few classes we have discussed about the slip velocity, and in particular we have tried to understand the origin of slip, and then using the model proposed by Stordula, we have tried to quantify the magnitude of slip velocity. Of course, the slip velocity which is related to the operation of a radial flow pump in practice. So, today we will be discussing about one numerical problem, and the problem that we are going to solve today is very important from the point of one important aspect. When we are solving numerical problem, it is very much unlikely that explicit statement will be given to take the slip into account while solving the problem. So, from the problem statement given, we need to understand whether we are going to take the effect of slip into account while solving the problem, or we should not consider the effect of slip in the analysis. So, from that point of view, the problem which will be solved in today's class is very important. At least one statement will be given. From that statement, we shall try to understand the meaning of slip. So, if I try to write the problem first, and then we will try to discuss about the solution method. So, problem on slip. As I said, let me first write the problem statement, then we will systematically discuss the solution methodology. So, problem statement is a pump which is definitely radial flow is having eight blades. Okay. The pump has an impeller exit diameter of 20 centimeter, and width of the flow passes and width of the flow passes at impeller outlet being 1.5 centimeter. Okay. So, this is one important line for the problem. Next is the backward curve blades curved blades make an angle of 60 degree with the axial direction, which is very important to understand. Okay. So, this is second line. Third line is the outlet flow direction follows the blade angle closely in absence of rotation. Closely in absence of rotation. In absence of rotation. Okay. Next statement is the pump runs at 2880 rpm, so that head developed by the pump is related to the flow rate. So, that head H unit meter developed is related to flow rate cube, unit is meter cube. So, I have written head colon meter, flow rate cube colon meter cube per second. Okay. So, this is meter cube per second, and that is given H equal to 74.4 minus 565.1 into cube. So, this is the relation we need to establish, right. So, and last part of this question is very important: neglect blockage effects and all losses, case the above relation and briefly explain what you would expect the actual head flow characteristics to look like. So, neglect blockage effects and other losses sketch the above relation and briefly explain what would you expect the actual head flow rate curve to look like. Right. So, you can understand I have written the problem statement, and in this problem the problem statement is relatively bigger. Now, if we try to read out the problem statement again, why I am doing so? As I told in the beginning of this class that it is very unlikely that always explicit information will be given in the problem statement from where we shall be in a position to understand that the slip should be taken into account in the analysis. So, by reading the problem statement we have to understand it. Now, the first statement it is given a radial flow pump is having 8 blades and the pump has an impeller exit diameter of 20 centimeter and width of the flow passes at impeller outlet being 1.5 centimeter. Second statement is given the blades which are there, the blades which are there in the pump impeller are backward curved blades, which the blades make an angle 60 degree with the axial direction. We will understand, we will see, rather we will draw the pump impeller as well as the velocity triangles both at the inlet and outlet, and from there we will try to understand what this statement is. Next statement which is very important, that the outlet flow direction follows the blade angle closely in absence of rotation. I will try to underline this statement. This statement is giving us a clue whether we should consider the effect of slip in the analysis or not. And the next statement is given that the pump runs at 2880 rpm, and we need to derive that the head discharge characteristic can be related to this expression, right. And the last statement is very important from the understanding point of view that we have discussed so far till now, that if we try to sketch this relation in H cube plane and if we try to ignore the blockage effects and other losses, that is what we have discussed, that is losses due to recirculation, separation, etc., then what I would expect the actual H cube curve to look like. Okay. So, now if we try to solve this problem, but again before the solution method is very trivial, but why I have taken this problem is very important to understand. It is given that the outlet flow direction follows the blade angle closely in absence of rotation. This statement in a way giving us a clue that when pump will start rotate, then the outlet flow direction will not follow the blade angle. So, that is what we have been discussing for the last a few classes, that because of the existence of slip velocity, both the absolute velocity and relative velocity at the outlet of the pump impeller will shift their location from the original locations. Okay. So, this statement is giving us a clue that in absence of rotation that is fine. In fact, if we try to recall the slip factor we have defined, right, there we have also defined that the in absence of pump rotation, that is when pump is, I mean if the pump is not rotating, then the outlet flow direction will definitely follow the blade angle. But the purpose of installing a pump in a pumping station is to definitely to develop head. If we need to have head that will be developed by the pump should rotate. So, if it rotates, then if pump rotates, then perhaps the outlet flow direction will not follow the blade angle, and that is an indication of slip that we should consider. Okay. So, if we try to solve the problem first, so if we try to draw the pump impeller, okay. Now, if we try to draw the velocity triangle, say if we take out this particular blade and if we try to draw the velocity triangle, if nothing is mentioned, then we should consider that the flow at the inlet to the pump is swirl free, right. So, if nothing is specifically mentioned about the inlet swirl, we should consider that the flow at the inlet to the pump is swirl free. So, we can draw the velocity triangle at the inlet, that this is the u1, this is the relative velocity, and the resultant is the absolute velocity c1. So, it is swirl free flow. Here c theta 1 equal to 0, right. This angle is pi by 2. The pump is rotating in this direction, and what next is to draw the velocity triangle at the outlet. If we try to draw the velocity triangle at the outlet, this is the this is C2, this is CR2, this is W2, and this is U2. This is C theta 2. But from the problem statement itself we have understood that when pump is rotating, then the flow direction will change, flow direction will not follow the blade angle at the outlet, and as a result of which the absolute velocity and relative velocity will change their location from the original one. So, that means, if we try to draw the velocity triangle, that would be C 2 prime, and similarly this will be W 2 prime, right. So, this is what is mentioned, that rather it is given from the problem statement. Why again I am telling, though it is not mentioned explicitly that we have to consider the slip velocity, but still from the problem statement itself we can understand that we should consider the effect of slip, right. So, this is very important. So, if I try to erase it, if we try to draw more and this will be W2. So, this is W2, right. So, now it is very easy. So, we have understood that we should consider the effect of slip because it is given in the problem statement, though it is not explicit. Okay. So, from the problem statement what we know? We know n equal to 2880 rpm, okay. D2 that is 20 centimeter and B2 that is width 1.5 centimeter at the outlet, okay. And Z, the total number of blades is 8. So, this is number of blades, okay. So, what we can calculate? We can calculate, because ultimately C theta 1 is equal to 0. So, again we will be applying the Euler equation for the pump to calculate the head that will be developed by this pump. So, what is that equation? H equal to U2 C theta 2 minus U1 C theta 1 divided by G. So, this is equal to 0 for the present problem, because it is not, nothing is mentioned about the inlet swirl. If nothing is mentioned, we will assume that the inlet flow is swirl free. So, H will be equal to U2 C theta 2 by Z. So, these assumptions we need to consider if nothing is mentioned. Now, what about U2? U2 equal to pi D2 n by 60, right. So, now you can understand this D2 is equal to given 0.2, this is 2880 rpm divided by 60 and it will be coming 30.144 meter per second. So, we have calculated U2, but mind it, for this particular problem we cannot straightaway use C theta 2. In this case we should consider C theta 2 prime. So, if we try to write, because this is the swirl velocity at the inlet actual C theta 2 prime, that we should consider, and that is because of the statement we have seen in the problem definition. The outlet flow direction follows blade angle in absence of rotation, but it is not a case that pump will be in a static position. Pump should rotate, only then we will be able to develop head. So, if pump start rotating, then this will be violated. If this will be violated, and it is giving us an indication that we should consider the effect of slip. Okay. So, now this is fine. Now, I mean this expression. So, by considering slip, we can write equal to U2 C theta 2 prime by G, where C theta 2 prime equal to C theta 2 minus Vs, and this Vs equal to slip velocity, right. So, this is basically slip velocity. So, this is Vs, slip, right. So, we can now calculate what is the magnitude of slip velocity, and by calculating slip velocity, if we try to plug in that expression in this, we will try to establish the expression H in terms of Q, because C theta 2 we can express in terms of the flow rate that we know. Okay. Now, what is given? I mean, if we go back to the problem statement, the backward curved blades make an angle 60 degree with the axial direction. Okay. So, now this is the axial direction for the pump, because the axial direction is like this, right. So, now this angle is this 60 degree, this angle is the 60 degree, this is alpha 2 prime right. So, if we try to the next slide, then using Stradula's slip velocity, we can calculate Vs equal to what? Because that is what we have studied many times, that what is the Stradula's slip velocity, that is nothing but pi u2 sin beta 2 divided by z. This expression we have established in the previous class. Okay. So, now we know u2. So, what about beta 2? So, if we go to the previous slide, so this is basically, I mean this angle is beta 2, beta 2 prime, right, or beta 2. So, that is nothing but 90 minus alpha 2, right. So, this alpha 2 is given 60 degree from the problem statement. Okay. Now, we need this is beta 2 because this is also beta 2 prime, right. So, now what we can calculate? We can easily calculate for the present problem, for the present problem, Vs will be equal to pi u2 sin 90 minus alpha 2, because nothing is mentioned about beta 2, but it is given that the backward curve blades make an angle of 60 degree with the axial direction, right. So, this is not the blade angle. Okay. So, we can calculate this by z, and that should be equal to pi u2 cos alpha 2 by z, right. So, if we try to plug in the value in the expression, that is what we have written, h u2 c theta 2 prime by g, right. So, if we try to plug in h equal to u2 then c theta 2 minus Vs divided by g, this expression is c theta 2 prime. So, if we try to write this expression, then what will be the final expression? So, you know that this is u2 by g, right, into c theta 2 minus pi u2 cos alpha 2 by z. So, it is not g, it is z. Okay. So, you can quickly solve this, just I am writing this is z. So, you can understand in this expression we know everything except c theta 2, but for the c theta 2 again if we look at this expression, what is c theta 2? So, you can understand this c theta 2 u2 equal to w theta 2 plus c theta 2 equal to w theta 2 prime plus c theta 2 prime, right. So, this is what we know, right, because of this slip the relative velocity also will change its initial original location and this will be the final location. Okay. So, in this expression if we try to write, that is nothing but u2 by g into what is c theta 2? C theta 2 is equal to c theta 2, I mean if we go back to the c theta 2 is equal to u2 minus w theta 2. So, that is u2 minus w theta 2 minus we can write the expression of pi u2 cos alpha 2 by z. Okay. So, now question is what about we can write w theta 2 by how? W theta 2 is equal to is because you can understand now if we go to the problem statement, then we have to write in this form. Somehow we need to write H in terms of Q, but the expression that we have till now is like this. So, we can relate W theta 2 in terms of the, so if we now try to the velocity triangle, if we can relate W theta 2 in terms of CR 2, then we can write CR 2 can be easily written in terms of the flow rate. Okay. So, if we try to write what will be, so for the timing what will be Q? So, Q will be equal to flow area into flow velocity, right. So, what is flow area? I mean if we try to draw, the cube will be equal to flow area. So, what about flow area? If we try to draw the velocity impeller, okay. So, you can understand this is G2 and this is B2. So, this is the flow area, right. So, this will be equal to, this flow area will be equal to pi d2 into B2 into CR2. So, the entire flow area will be this. So, pi d2 that is the circumference into B2 that is the area into CR2. So, what about CR2? CR2 is equal to cube by pi d2 B2. So, this is the expression of CR2. Now, we have explicit expression of CR2, and what about W theta 2? So, if we try to go back, if we try to go to the next slide, then we can write this H equal to U2 by G into U2 minus W theta 2 minus pi U2 cos alpha 2 by Z. Now, that is written. So, we can write U2 by G into U2 minus this is CR2 tan alpha 2 minus pi U2 cos alpha 2 by Z, right. So, if we try to go to the previous slide, so this angle is alpha 2, you can understand. So, this CR2 by W theta 2 or W theta 2 by CR2 is equal to tan alpha 2, right. W theta 2 by CR2 is equal to tan alpha 2, right. Then W theta 2 is equal to CR2 tan alpha 2. So, this is quite clear. Now, if we just try to plug in the expression of all quantities, and what about CR2? So, I can write one step further U2 by G into U2 minus what about W CR2, that is pi that is cube what about CR2 equal to cube by pi d2 b2 into tan alpha 2 minus pi u2 cos alpha 2 by z. So, you can understand at least this expression can be written in this form u2 minus pi u2 cos alpha 2 by z minus tan alpha 2 by pi d2 b2 into cube. So, at least now this expression is closer to what we need to establish. So, h equal to something, some constant minus something into cube. So, if we try to plug in the value of u2, that equal to 30.144 meter per second, right. What else? Z equal to 8, d2 equal to 0.2, b2 equal to 1.5 centimeter, 0.015, right, and alpha 2 equal to 60 degree. If we try to plug in the value of this all these value, we will be getting this expression, then this expression can be written h equal to 74.47 minus 565.1 cube. So, this is the final expression. So, again I am telling we have derived this expression, and if we put the value of what we need to put over here u2, alpha 2 and d2 b2. So, basically u2 is already you have calculated, z is given because we need to plug in the value of z over here, and d2 b2 and alpha 2, if we use those values, then we will be getting the expression of h, that is 74.47 minus 565.1 cube. 565.1 cube. So, this is what we need to establish. Okay. So, with this expression, now the last part of this problem, I mean if we try to go back, that this is what we have been able to establish. Now, this part is that if we try to sketch this relation in the h cube plane, then what will be the curve, and if we do not consider blockage effects and other losses, then what I would expect the actual h cube curve to look like. Okay. So, now question is, we have established that h equal to 74.47 minus 565.1 cube, right. So, if we try to plot this relation in h cube plane, so this is h, this is cube. So, understand when q equal to 0, then that is 74.7. So, this is 74.47, and when h equal to 0, q equal to 74.47 divided by 565.1. So, that means the curve will be like this. Okay. So, this point is 74.47 divided by 565.1, right. So, this is the point where h is equal to h max, this is the point where q is equal to q max, right. So, this is the point when q is equal to q max. So, q equal to q max, this is the point where h equal to h max, right. So, as I told you that this is the theoretical established, because that is what we this expression we have derived using Euler equation of motion, right. But in real practice, we really cannot ignore the losses due to blockage and also the recirculation losses, separation losses. So, basically will be the if I try to draw the actual curve, the curve will be like this. So, this is separation losses and this is mechanical losses. Okay. So, basically if we try to summarize today's class, what we have seen, we have discussed about slip, we have established the expression of slip. Today we have worked out one example wherein there is no explicit information on the slip whether we will consider or not, but from the problem statement itself we have understood that we should consider slip while while establishing the relation which was sought for. So, basically while solving the problem, we have seen the problem solution, the solution methodology is very I can say easy, it is trivial, but what we need to consider, we need to consider the effect of sleep from the problem statement. And using this Todd-Lewis model and the information given in the problem statement, we have derived the expression, and the final statement was that the expression that we have derived, if we try to plot that in HQ plane, the actual curve. So, basically this is the actual curve. The actual curve will be like this, right. So, the actual curve, as I told you, this will be the actual curve that is shown by this blue line, while if we try to plot this relation in HQ plane, that this will be straight line. So, this is the point where q is equal to q max, this is the point where h is equal to h max, and that is clear that you can see if you plot in, if you plug q is equal to 0, that will be getting h is equal to h max, if you put h is equal to 0, that is q is equal to q max. So, this is the kind of theoretical, but the actual curve will be like this, because there will be losses, that is mechanical loss and separation losses. Okay. So, with this I stop my discussion today, and I hope by solving this problem you all have understood that if we try to solve a particular problem, though the explicit information about sleep is not given, we can easily understand and we can solve this problem. I stop here today, and we will continue our discussion in the next class. Thank you.